I overthink everything because at first when I was younger, it was a sense of fear. And now I think it's become a thing of preparation. There's nothing that I prepare for myself for the worst, but I also prepare myself for the best. So it's like whatever comes, even if I sit right in the middle of anything, I'm I'm fine with it, because if I lose something or if I gain something or something goes out exactly as planned, it's exactly where I was supposed to be, however it works out. I lost my brother last year in September to gun violence. And I think that day when everything happened, it was like, this is the worst that can happen, you know? And I feel like the pain that I was enduring for like, I'll say, I think I cried every day for like 6 months, but like, the first 2 months of everything was just like, you're in it, Because then after a while, you're just like, okay, I'm just happy I got up today without crying. And I think that around that time, I was in such a mental state that like, I was just always preparing for like, okay, this is the worst that can happen. Like, the worst thing that can happen is like, if I go outside today, I may not make it back home. But the best thing that could happen is like, I could come back with a new client. I could come back and hug my daughter when I walk in through the door. I could come back and make the best meal for dinner and remember that meal and then continue to make that meal and share with other people. So it was just experiencing that loss. It opened doors of new pain. It's pain that like you can't you can't fix. It's pain that you cannot soothe. It's pain that like that's the pain that people talk about. Is like you have to allow it to pass. Like not even allow it to pass. You have to just get really, acquainted with it. You have to sit with it, and it's, grieving is a thing that, when it happens, people are just saying, I'm sorry for your loss, or like, you know, you're just trying to figure it out. And within you being the person that actually lost, whether it's a friend, a close friend, a sibling, a parent, it's like the things that you want to hear is like you want to hear that person's voice again, or you want to just feel them, or you want to hold them, or you want to just like tell them I love you, So it's like a lot. I think grieving is a thing that is like you would never, it's a never ending process. It's more like you allowing yourself to go through the day. When you can sit down and be okay with it, in a sense of like you're not crashing out, you're not you're not crying crazy or like losing yourself. I think that's what grieving is. It's like that process that takes you there, We have family members that we lost about 10, 15 years ago. You think about them, but you're in a state now, 10 to 15 years ago, you may shed a tear here and there, but you're okay with understanding that that's what his life is. So grieving is basically the final act of love. It's like the goodbye, till we see each other again. And what I remember, I don't even know who this guy was, his name, but he said something about loss is that, every time you have a child or you get married, get in a relationship, build a friendship, have siblings, you taking the risk of allowing this person to love you and you love them back, knowing that you have to lose them one day. When you start to put yourself outside of your own self and you start to see everything like from a larger scale, you start to understand that, if I would have never met this person, this would have never happened today. If I would have never left that relationship, if I would have never left that job, if I would have never spent that money, whether it's bad things that happen or it's good things that happen, I think everything that happened to us negatively in our lives has impacted us to be either better people or stronger people. And if it, made us become more like worse people than that, then that's things that you're fighting. And that's lack of like self-awareness or lack of not being spiritually aligned to anything that you won't even be aligned to in the first place. Money, women, and ego. It's just, oh, I felt disrespected, or you took my girl, or you stole money from me, or you owe me money, or I broke bread with you, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? We invested into this, we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it, even when you're talking about killers and stuff like that, or rapists and stuff like that, that's all like ego bruising. If you were a child, you went through something that bruised you so much that you wanted to become this person, and hurt a child, or hurt your wife, or whatever the case is. So a lot of it's just based off ego. And when we start to remove ourselves from that, and we just start to be people that just want better for ourselves, and we start to feed internally instead of externally, that's what makes us better in general. It's not that I was okay, or like it's been okay, but I think when I went to his grave last weekend and I was sitting in front of it, I felt at peace. And I don't know if because I was closer to him, or if, I don't know, just being there just brought me back to that moment where it was like, like this is where you exactly was, you know? But I don't think I'll ever be okay with it. I think it changed me drastically, and it made me look at life like, you know, we're here today. We won't be here in the next week. You could not be here in the next 5 minutes, next 5 seconds. So it made me cherish every second, not every minute, not every day, but every second that we have. We live every single day and we don't get to relive it. I think I said this one time, I said, time is the only thing that's given to us that we can't get back. We could lose money and get it back. We could lose a house, lose clothes, lose a car, lose jewelry, lose friendships and stuff like that. And we could gain more friendships. We can gain more, people in our lives, more jewelry, more clothes. But it's like time is the only thing that, how we spend it every single second. As we're sitting in this chair, the minutes that's passing by, we can't get it back. So it's trying to experience and also spend every second of my life doing something I'm either passionate about, whether I'm resting, whether I'm reading a book with my daughter, whether I'm trying a new restaurant with her, whether, I don't know, I'm picking her up from school, And I think that's what time is so important in our lives, because it's more so what we're giving into it to see the outcome of it later. I have never been consistent with anything in my life besides my child. And I think that growing up and moving from homes every 2 years, it wasn't a consistency for me. So I started to realize that I always needed a change of surroundings consistently to keep me stimulated, to keep me from like, not say going crazy, but to keep me from like not trying to question what's going on in my life or question anything, like, because I used to fear it, because when I would like think about why things aren't changing around me, like why am I still in the same predicament, I would get afraid of being too comfortable, or being that I don't, I'm not living life to a certain extent. So when I had my child, it was all fun when I was pregnant. Everybody's like, oh, you're going to be the best mom and this and that, all this extra stuff. But when I had my kid, and after like a year or two later, I started to realize, I'm like, oh shit, this is forever. Like, this is like, they're not going nowhere, And I remember when I was giving birth, I think my aunt told me, she was like, giving birth is the 5% of the battle. The other 95, yeah, lifetime. A friend of mine told me, like, we don't become parents until your children are adults. Because at this moment when they're children, we're kind of just going through the motions. We're learning as they're learning. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they're old enough, and then you become a like when you're an adult and they're an adult. Not when you're an adult. When they're an adult, you're like, this is how I can guide you. This is how I could do better for you. This is how I could set you up for a lifetime. Because they're children for a period of time, but they're adults for way longer, And Yeah, my daughter has definitely brought me peace, stillness, and definitely sharpened the way I think because of the fact that if I don't protect her, I don't protect myself. My daughter has this sense of care with me. It's kind of crazy. Like, I'm very vulnerable in front of her. Like, if I'm having a rough day, I'll cry in front of her. Like, and it won't be like purpose, like, oh, she's right here, let me cry in front of her. It's like I'll go into the bathroom and I'll see she'll run after me, and she'll put her arms around me, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, like, I love you. And she'll bring me her teddy bear or her blanket. I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, you know, but that's really what switched having a kid, and I think a lot of parents could testify to that. That the sense of like you want to protect them from everything to the point that you got to protect yourself. From 4 years old, see my mom's head busted open and stuff like that, and I grew like as a child, I used to fear violence so much. Like, if I heard like anyone arguing in the street, like my hands would start to shake. And I remember my mom would like cradle me, like, yo, you're good, you're fine. To the point that I realized when I was 11 or 12, it was a switch. And that fear became to a sense of anger. And I wouldn't say I became violent, but I became fearless. Like, I was like, there's nothing in this world that could take me out. And this is at 11, so I'm coming from a perspective, I'm like, and my siblings are older than me and stuff like that. So this came like, I just wanted to fight. I wanted to, and it was more towards men, you know? And I know where it stemmed from. It stemmed from like seeing, my father abuse my mother. That is just like, I was just so angry. We understand our parents' path and who they are when we become parents. It's like, oh, now I get it. Even when I'm having conversations with her, I'm like, I'm not trying to blame you. I'm trying to tell you I understand, but I want you to help me understand you and make a better decision on when we communicating. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing with my daughter that I really didn't get as a kid, like, my mom showed me she loved me because she made sure we had clothes on our back and a roof over our head and food on our table. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way parents usually show, And one thing with my kid is like, I'm constantly telling her, I love you. You know what I'm saying? I love you. I love you so much. You're the coolest girl in the world. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Even when she's in trouble, I always try to explain to her, like, oh, this is why we even went down this road. This is why we exceeded to the limit where, I'm yelling or something because it's a frustration. Frustration is an emotion. So that's how I talk to her. So she could not think that like, oh, mommy just hates me or mommy just, wants to yell or mommy wants this. It's like, I think the way I'm raising her is to be more conscious, to be understanding. I think children are the most curious people in the world. They just want to know why. Now I'm going to do it because you don't want to tell me. Because now I want to learn. Now, if I sit here and I tell her, like, look, this can happen. Now, if you do take this route, this can happen to you. And if you're okay with this happening to you, then by all means, take that path, walk that path. I'll be right here at the end of it. But what it could do to your mental, what it could do to your physical, that I cannot control. But I'll sit here and I'll rub your shoulder, and you could definitely cry on my shoulder whenever you need me. But whatever it's going to do to you, I told you. Now, if you would like to take that path, by all means, do it. And I think children are way more conscious, And even if they do make that bad decision, you're still with them at the end of the day. Hold them down, hug them, guide them, okay? You learn, though. You gonna do it again? No? Okay, then. And, my daughter's she's too intelligent at sometimes. At this point, I question her. I'm like, where are you learning this from now? She's very, very intelligent, very curious, and very straightforward, and has a memory of, oh my God. She remembers something that I told her when she was 2 years old. I was talking to my mom, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take Nori to Africa at 5. I'm going to just make sure she got her shots and everything. She turned 5 in January. It was like March. She said, you taking me to Africa this year? Remember when you said that you was going to take me to Africa? I said, yeah. I got to start speaking another language now.
when I'm talking about her because, you know, she's very, very intelligent. I think that that's what makes me want to be a better parent towards her because it's like you got all this knowledge and I want you to share it with the world. Seeing my mom at like 20s, in her 20s, trying to figure it out, it's like I'm not trying to have my daughter see that. Like, I don't want my daughter don't, and I thank God every single day. My daughter doesn't know what a struggle is, because I don't allow her to see that. So it's like, I think being a parent and also being mainly focused on that, it's like, I'm not trying to fuck up. And then when I do, it's like, it's a humbling experience that it's like, it's okay to, people that meet me randomly on the street or like I'm at a meeting and I bring my daughter, they always say, like, I could tell how much love you pour into her because I could see it through her. And sometimes I got to hear things like that because I'm, like, constantly trying to be this person to her. Like, no, I want to show you that I love you. I want to show you that we good. I want to show you that there's nothing for you to worry about. Like, I got you forever. And it's like sometimes we don't got them. Sometimes we fail. And it's okay. I think there's days where I'm trying to get out of bed. Being a single mother, I think seeing my mother raise all her kids, and doing it by herself is what drives me to be the mother that I am, the hustler that I am. But there's days where I want to give up. Like, there's days when I sit in bed and I don't want to do it. Like, I just, and I don't beat myself up about it all the time. But there's days I would tell myself, I'm like, tomorrow's going to be a better day. When you try to figure things out so much, you end up beating yourself about it because you end up adding expectations for yourself. And I had to stop doing that because I kept falling in the same hole. So it's like when things don't, if I wake up one day and I'm like, I'm just drained, I'm tired, tomorrow's going to be a better day. And I wake up the next day and I have more energy and I get things done. And at the end of that day, I'm like, okay, you just had a bad day, but it's all good. We gonna keep it moving. So it keeps me moving, the mental, but it doesn't keep me balanced. It keeps me afloat, like, I'm very private, so a lot of people, they see me and they're like, oh my God, you're such a great mom. Oh my God, like, you really be traveling, you do this, you do that, you're always working with people, and you're such a great mom. And I'm like, I'm drowning right now. Like, But the thing about it is that I don't allow people to see my pain because I don't like sympathy. And I think that's something I'm still trying to figure out. I'm the girl that is like, and my friends tell me this all the time. They was like, you don't ask for help. You want to take everything on. And then when you crashing out and you going down bad, you still get up and you still want to do more. So it's like, I think the answer to that is that I haven't found a balance. I don't know if I'll ever find a balance. I think the last time I had time where I was just sitting within myself was last year. I turned 30. I booked a trip to Miami for 5 days. Beautiful condo. And I stood and I didn't tell nobody. I just stood there for 5 days. I was on the beach. I was eating fruits and I stood in my thoughts. I don't even think I shared words with anybody that whole trip. And I think that's the last time I even did something for myself. And I think when questions like this happen, it makes me think how I don't take care of myself well. It makes me think like you kind of just pulling the rug from under me. But it just makes me realize, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm not meant to. Maybe the way I take care of myself is by taking care of others. Maybe that's how I take care of myself. Maybe that's my purpose. Maybe that's how I feed myself, is by seeing that other people are good around me. I think I've gotten better. Like, I think I've gotten to the point where, I'm not saying yes to everything, I take my time with everything, no matter what. I'm not also having the mindset of, you know, what is will be, you know, and I may not be taking my care of myself physically, but maybe mentally I am, you know, maybe putting candles around the tub that I do sometimes is, I don't know. I feel like I'm polishing that more, and I feel like as I get older, maybe I would eventually learn how and when is the right time to do it, which is right now, but still haven't crossed that path yet. Take every risk. Don't be afraid to fail. Time is a social construct. Love. Love as much as you can, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Love. And give back. Whether it's a compliment, whether it's $1, whether it's a hug, you know, whether it's a conversation. I think people tend to forget that we're on this earth to give back as much as we can, because when we leave, we don't take anything with us. And the only thing we leave on this earth is the memories and the imprints that we leave on people's lives. So that's really my final thought.